All right, check this out. The MAGA base has almost completely turned on Donald Trump after he put out a new post on social media today where he essentially said, there are no more Epstein files coming, I won't be releasing anymore, and the MAGA base should just get over it. They are furious with Donald Trump after he said this on social media. Donald Trump was hoping that with this new post, the MAGA civil war would quietly fade away, but I think it's only gotten worse and only caused more people to abandon him. So let's just start with Donald Trump's post, quickly giving you a summary on what he said. He started it by saying, what's going on with my boys, and in some cases gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. They're attacking her because they believe that Pam Bondi is the reason that the files haven't been released yet. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. This is a direct attack on his own supporters. He's calling them selfish for demanding that Donald Trump follow through with a campaign promise that he made to them. He's directly attacking them. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. And then he claimed that the documents were written by Obama, Hillary Clinton, James Comey, Joe Biden, and more. They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't they release the Epstein files? If there was something in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they do it? And then he concluded the statement by saying, 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Now, that is a direct shot at MAGA because MAGA obviously deeply cares about these files that Donald Trump has made a big fuss about in recent years, only for him to completely turn his back on that promise. And you can tell that MAGA cares very much so about these files because if you just look at Donald Trump's Truth Social page, and let's just refresh it here quickly to get the most recent numbers, you can see that he's getting ratioed on his own post. And that means there are less likes than comments. Typically, Donald Trump has a bunch of likes, everybody's agreeing with him. But now on this post, you can see at the time of filming this, it has 17,000 likes and 17,700 comments. And let me tell you, some of these comments are directly targeting Donald Trump. These are the MAGA fans who are abandoning him right now. For example, this top comment says, you are losing too many in your base. Have an aide collect what we were saying on social media. Pam Bondi has not been telling the truth. You need to listen to us. Are you aware how long and hard many of us work to get to the truth? We refuse to give you a pass. This one says, Dwayne says, this is going to cost you so many supporters. I being one of them. I've been to multiple rallies and even was there on January 6th. This has been one of the main things that needs fixed. Our two-tiered system of justice needs to end. We, the people, are tired of it. So, this is crazy. A guy who is there on J6, somebody who is that big of a Trump supporter, so much so that he bought into Donald Trump's lies, went to DC on Jan 6, is now saying that he's abandoning Donald Trump, that his vote is now in jeopardy because of what Donald Trump is doing with these Epstein files. If somebody that is that diehard of a Trump supporter is saying, yeah, I'm not so sure about this Trump guy, I'm not so sure about what he's doing with these Epstein documents, that's a pretty bad sign for MAGA and the Republican Party. And it gets worse. More and more people saying, we want them exposed. You promised us that. Pam promised us that. Kash Patel promised us that. Now it's our fault because we want that promise fulfilled and call out Pam every time she lies. What else has she lied about? Americans care. Another one says Americans care because there needs to be accountability. Without the accountability, the same sickos are likely still doing those things. Sorry, this is not holding water, said this MAGA account. Girls were used and abused. They need to pay the price. Mr. President, you did make the promise. I mean, I can go through so many different comments. You can kind of pause and read some of these if you'd like, but man, it is just endless of people criticizing Donald Trump. And this is on Trump's own Truth Social platform, his own social media platform that he created, where all of his MAGA fans flocked to. These are not liberals. These are not Democrats. They're his supporters, and they're saying, we're abandoning you. And it only got worse. This is just Truth Social. On Twitter and other social media platforms, it's even worse for Donald Trump. This video right now is currently going incredibly viral. It was posted by an ultra right-wing account. This guy is insane if you just take a look at some of his posts. And yet he is now burning his MAGA hats, throwing them in a coal pit, lighting them on fire. The video, as of filming this right now, has 375,000 views. And just look at it. Watch this video of him burning his MAGA merch.
We're not gonna play with these anymore. MAGA hats are off. America First hats are on.
Wow.
Burn, baby, burn. And this is a great representation of what's left of MAGA.
Wow. Look at that. The burned hats saying this is a great representation of what's left of MAGA. And even though this guy is a lunatic and a right-wing weirdo, he's kind of right in terms of this being the remnants. MAGA is completely fractured right now. They have a major civil war taking place. And as I mentioned earlier, it's just not going away anytime soon. Here's another one, Nick Fuentes, who again, we all know to be a huge right-winger, very, very far right. He said on social media in a now viral post that has 1 million views, so now Trump is claiming the Epstein files are a Democrat hoax. LOL, MAGA is dead. Good riddance. And he's right. I mean, look, Donald Trump in that social media post claimed that, oh, it's the Democrats who wrote the files and that's why I'm not releasing them, but also the files don't exist and you should not care about them. His explanation is all over the place, and that's the main argument he's making. And MAGA, according to Nick Fuentes and these other Republicans, is dead. They've been completely betrayed. This is one of the main promises that Donald Trump made, that he was going to have ultimate transparency, release these documents, and now there's nothing. Here's another one. Benny Johnson, who we all know to be a crazy, crazy MAGA commentator, stands with Donald Trump the overwhelming majority of the time, almost 100% of the time. And in this video, he really kind of criticizes Donald Trump. He kind of gets close but holds back a little bit. Just take a look at his reaction to Donald Trump's statement earlier today.
Okay. So President Trump has acknowledged that the Epstein files exist here. President Trump has acknowledged that the files were written and that there is something there. He says that they were written, however, by his enemies and therefore will not be released. Whoa, what? That's new in this entire zeitgeist. This is something that is wildly interesting. And then he goes all in on supporting Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. No mention of Dan Bongino, where all of this, again, sort of transpired.
Okay. Yeah, you know, he's walking the line. He kind of did it with this what comment, being like, what do you mean by that? What a strange thing to say. He's walking the line. He really wants to do it. But a lot of these MAGA influencers just will not ever criticize Donald Trump in the right way, you know, in the way that he should be called out. So the fact that Benny Johnson is even saying something like what in kind of a questioning way of Donald Trump, in my view, is pretty significant. Here's another one. Evan Kilgore kind of following the same line we've seen from many different Trump supporters saying, I feel totally betrayed. Who else? Again, huge MAGA account on Twitter who has supported Donald Trump for a very long time. There's a sense of betrayal among MAGA. Trump looked them in the eyes and promised them to release these documents. Now he's not doing that. Now he's backtracking on that promise. And these are just some examples. There are far more out there, far more videos of Trump fans saying, can't do it anymore, I'm jumping ship. I will definitely talk about more of those. Let me know if you want to see more of those in the comments. I'm happy to make a video on that. But man, it is just so fascinating to see all of these Trump supporters just completely abandon Donald Trump in the middle of all this. So I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment. Let me know what you think about everything that's going on. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.